Once we had our 65 Chevelle buffed and polished and looking really straight and shiny, the next trick was to start reassembling the final details on the car. We used a lot of reproduction trim pieces from OPGI, these nice Malibu SS badges that went into the quarter panels, some of the trim that went around the bottom of the fenders and the wheel lip openings. All this stuff has to be installed very, very carefully so that you don't scratch up your freshly painted car. Pretty much all the trim is new on this car, on the backside, around the taillights, all the lenses, all the bumpers. Even after the car was already painted, Nathan still had to do a little finesse work to get the door handles and lock cylinders to fit right.
Okay, we're fitting our lock cylinder today. And if we put it in here, we can tell the holes are kind of small. That if we just shoved it in there, there's a good chance we'd crack the paint around it. So to fix this, we take some simple files, clean the hole out. You just gotta be careful while you're doing this. Always push in, don't pull out. So if anything does happen, is shaving it off to the inside, it won't chip the paint to the outside.
I've seen Nathan do this stuff 100 times, but it still makes me nervous whenever he takes out a file to a brand new paint job.
Now we got it cleaned up, we can try test fitting it again. See, look, we still needs just a little bit more clearance in a couple spots, like right over here. It still might crack the paint right here if we just shove that in, so take your time and be patient with your file.
One of the challenges of a car that's got brand new paint on every surface is that paint thickness builds up, and sometimes the pieces don't fit the way they did before they were painted.
There we go. But before we install this, we'll take a little touch-up paint and just brush this edge in right around here so no rust can form.
The best advice is to take your time when installing all of the trim letters and polished spears on the car so you don't slip and scratch something. And the trim around the windows is also kind of tricky because if you pound on it, it'll dent and it'll be real obvious you just ruined a set of trim. So those just kind of pop into place if you push on them. And then Nathan showed us a cool trick with the rocker molding clips using some Plasti-Dip. The idea here is to coat the stud that goes into the car with the Plasti-Dip, which is going to act like a sealer to make sure that these holes don't rust out from the inside out. New cars don't have screw-on trim anymore because it was always a source for rust. And even though these are hidden behind all the new trim, you don't want any problems down the road. A lot of time was taken to make sure that door panels fit right in the car, that the screws weren't over-torqued so that they were all wavy, and that the window regulators were rebuilt, greased, new rollers put in them so the windows go up and down smoothly. It's all new glass. And these little details really make a car feel nice, to make sure that everything works all the way down to the windshield squirters. Nice. Look at that. One more. Just because it's fun. The interior on our 65 was largely a reproduction complete interior kit from OPGI. We had our local interior shop called High Tech restuff the seats, install the headliner, and do some other work. And then we reinstalled the rear seat. The front seats are Scat Pro-Car bucket seats, which we like because they have a very similar pattern in the vinyl to the original, but they offer a lot more support because with the suspension improvements in this car, it's going to handle a lot better. So we wanted something that held you in place a little bit better. Even though we were very cautious to not, hurt the car as we put it back together, Nathan did find a few, hairline little marks in the paint here and there. So he wanted to buff the car one more time to really make it perfect for its unveiling at its show. So the next trick is to tape off all of the trim, all the bright work, anything sharp and pointy on the car, and then apply another coat of 3M machine glaze. And this way your buffer not only doesn't get stuck on the trim pieces and the sharp edges, but it also protects those parts so they don't get ripped off the car or broken or anything else. He spent a lot of time putting mask paper over any openings and taping off any seams so that we didn't get a lot of compound down between the panels and create a lot more work cleaning up. And for the final step, Nathan hand rubbed the entire car using some 3M Perfect-it III Finishing Glaze and a microfiber to make sure the paint had absolutely no marks in it whatsoever and nothing but a nice brilliant shine. And now this car was show ready. Next time, this car gets a surprise unveiling at the Chicago World of Wheels show. It even takes home a trophy, and then we'll show you how it drives.